Bucko's Bounties. Yo, Bucko, it's Zero, coming back to you with another. Actually, this one's going to be a top 10 list. We're going to try something out new and see how you guys like it. And I think I'm going to do some more top 10 lists in the future because I already had the stuff planned. But yeah, I'm still doing figure reviews, and after the news, I'm like, I want to try some new stuff too. So you're still getting figure reviews. I have Greedo coming in this weekend. I also have the Heir to the Empire Luke coming in. So those should be going up hopefully this weekend if they come in on time. And I still have a whole slew of reviews to do. I'm just trying to work on a new schedule type of deal because I switched jobs. So anyways, if you guys like this content, go ahead and hit that like and go ahead and hit that subscribe, and I'll keep you in touch with more top 10s in the future. So for starters, I'm going to kind of go over kind of an honorable mentions. I don't know, it's more like a top 15, but it really is just an honorable mentions. So starting off, he was on my top 10 originally, but I'm deciding not to put him on because I wanted him, and now I'm seeing it's like he's really plain, but I still want him a lot. This is going to be Ben Solo. I don't know, he's really freaking cool. I love that scene was probably my favorite from The Rise of Skywalker, where he just destroys the Knights of Ren. I absolutely love that. I think he definitely deserves a figure, even though he is pretty plain. Still probably my favorite scene in that movie, and the only scene that I actually really enjoyed in that movie. So I'm really hoping they make a figure of him because he deserves it. Alright, getting into honorable mention number 2, and that is going to be HK-47. Now, he barely didn't make it into my top 10, but that's just because he's kind of an expanded universe character now. I definitely do think we need him though, because we do have a Revan, and he would be a perfect companion to have for Revan on the shelf. He's a badass assassin droid, and yeah, I just want him. He's gonna look badass. I think Hasbro would do a really good job with this. Plus, they can use the body from the Magistrates droids because they're very similar, and they could just, you know, redo a couple pieces, but that way we can get Magistrate droids from that episode of The Mandalorian. I would prefer they do completely new molds, but that's just throwing an idea out there. Honorable mention number 3 is going to be Cobb Vanth. Now, the only reason he's not actually on the top 10, because as much as I would love to put this badass on the top 10, I am pretty sure they're going to make a figure of him. I try to be very generous with what I put on my top 10 list, because it's either things I don't think are going to get a release, or honestly it's more of things that I really want. But I really do think Cobb Vanth is going to be released sometime in the next year or two. I'm just really hoping that when they do release him, they give him his speeder bike, because the speeder bike is freaking awesome. But yeah, Cobb Vanth with his stolen Boba Fett armor, I think that would be super cool. I know we're going to get a Boba Fett figure at some point from Mandalorian, so it would work hand in hand with him. I don't know, maybe they would have this armor be the worn one he has, and then the other one would be the kind of clean armor, so they could switch them off. So that would be cool. Who knows? Who knows what Hasbro's going to do? Alright, getting into my 4th honorable mention pick. That is going to be Beckett in his Imperial disguise. Now, we do have a Beckett already, but I love my Imperial figures, of course, so of course, give me Imperial disguise Beckett with his shot up look. I don't know, he would look great next to the Mim Bam Han Solo, which honestly, that's a good army builder already. So just having a kind of Mim Bam officer kind of look thing going on would be really cool, so that way you don't have to kit bash. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. I don't know, I have a thing for Imperials, and I have a thing for Imperial disguises. You'll see that later. But anyways, he just barely doesn't make it onto the top 10 because he is kind of like a very short scene. But I would still love to have this figure, and I would love to have more Beckett. So alright, let's get into the actual top 10. So I actually decided to switch out Ben Solo for this pick. It's actually more like a couple picks. I would be kind of happy with any one of these. I really think that 3 stand out the most. So yeah, these are going to be the Inquisitors. So I feel like the number 1 pick for the Inquisitor, if we got one, would be the Grand Inquisitor, of course, from Rebels. He's badass. He is basically the main enemy in the first season, and yeah, I think we really need him. Like I said, he's really cool. Love to have him. And then, of course, you've heard me before talking about how I would love the ninth sister from Jedi Fallen Order. So she's going to be my second pick for the Inquisitors. And then you have the brothers Inquisitors. So you have the 5th and the 8th brother Inquisitors. Those would be my bottom picks. So I kind of don't want them. But the last one, and now that I think about it, probably the one I want the most is the Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean, the 7th sister Inquisitor. She is badass, and I would love to have her with their 2 little droids, which is one thing that Hasbro just doesn't want to make, is those kind of mini probe droids that come with things. So like if they ever make an Iden Versio figure, I would want that to come with that. But yeah, I would really love to have the 7th sister Inquisitor with a kind of like Sarah Michelle Gellar face mold kind of looking thing, but also mixed with her face mold. I think that would be really cool. Give her the droids. That would be really badass. Alright, so this was my 10th pick. This was originally been solo, but I decided to change them out. So we're going to get into my 9th pick. And my 9th pick is going to be Jedi Master Luke from The Last Jedi. Now, I think this figure is rumored to come, but I have no idea where he is. And I've just wanted this figure. This is probably one of the coolest scenes in the entire sequel trilogy, when Luke just shows off his power and how badass he is while kind of toying with Kylo Ren. And I think that this is just a glimpse of the Jedi Master Luke that we wanted. So I think he's really deserving of a figure. Now, they already made a Hot Toys Luke, and that looks badass, but yeah, I really do think he deserves a figure. And if that rumor is true, I'm hoping it is, but that rumor was like from a year ago now, and we haven't seen it. So hopefully we're getting this figure in the near future. Getting it to my number 8 pick, this is a personal favorite of mine. This is Agent Kallus. Now, it would be awesome to have Agent Kallus / Fulcrum, either one, but yeah, the Agent Kallus would be awesome just in his Imperial gear. You get that awesome blaster to fight Zeb with. You get the awesome armor, and then I don't know, he's just a unique Imperial officer. He's kind of like, I don't know, he would be really cool to have. I really do want him. It would just be a unique Imperial for the shelf either way. Plus, it's Agent Kallus, so you get Fulcrum out of it. We need him. He's the main part of Rebels. He is probably... I don't know why they haven't made a figure from him. They're not making like anything from Rebels besides the Rebels crew. But we need a lot more Rebels figures, so hopefully we get this in the future. Alright, my number 7 pick is Saw Gerrera. Of course. I think everyone wants a Saw Gerrera figure. Now, I don't care what he's from. I don't care if you give me the... I prefer you give me either the Jedi Fallen Order or the Rogue One version of Saw Gerrera. I mean, they technically are the same thing. I would honestly be really happy if you made a head mold that switches out between the two, from the older kind of scraggly looking one we got from the movie, and then the one from the game, which is kind of the one they had in the Rogue One trailer. If they give us swappable heads for that, that would be freaking awesome. I don't think they're going to do that, but I honestly feel like we're going to get a Bad Batch Saw Gerrera or a Clone Wars Saw Gerrera before we even see the Rogue One Saw Gerrera. So who knows? Anyways, let's get on to the next one. And the next one is going to be my number 6 pick. That is the Droideka. Now, of course, I love my droid army, so the Droideka is a no-brainer. Master Destroyers. Yeah, I would love to have this, and hopefully it's a deluxe figure and they give us the kind of like plastic shield that you can make and go around him. That would be even more badass, and hopefully he rolls up into a ball. Now, while doing some research, I actually found there is a figure in that came out with like the Phantom Menace figures back in the day. Well, it was the Power of the Jedi figures, and it's a 1/12 scale Droideka, which actually looks really good for the time. I almost want to kind of buy it, but it's $100 right now. Actually, more than that. But it rolls up into a ball and it scales perfectly with the Black Series stuff, and it looks really badass. So if they can achieve that in, what is that, 2002, then they could definitely achieve a better destroyer droid now. So hopefully Hasbro goes all out when they do decide to release this guy, because I need at least 2 of them for my droid army. Make sure it comes with that shield. Anyways, let's get into the next one. And the next one is my number 5 pick, and that is going to be Starkiller, Galen Merrick. He is badass. I honestly feel like whenever Star Wars games come into discussion, it always goes back to the Force Unleashed. He is probably one of the coolest Sith, one of the most overpowered Force users of all time. He's really badass. I don't care if they give us the Sith costume or either one of his game costumes. Hell, he has so many costumes that you can make a couple of these figures. Now, I think everyone would love if you just release his kind of original outfit from the first couple, from the beginning of the Force Unleashed, so that would be freaking awesome. But if you want to give us the Force Unleashed 2 outfit with his badass thing, I don't know, you can make him a deluxe figure. You could give him like armor and stuff to switch out. I don't know how you want to do that, but Hasbro, make it happen. We've been wanting this figure. This could definitely be a gaming grade figure. Hell, it could be its own figure. Not even gaming grades, because the gaming grades are just repaints. This is a whole new figure that needs to get made. So my number 4 is another one from Mandalorian, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I try to keep a lot of Mandalorian stuff off this list, but this is one of those ones where it's a personal favorite of mine. It is Bill Burr Mayfield. This is one of those ones that I just absolutely want. I've loved his design since he first came on the screen. I love him as a comedian. He's hilarious. I don't know. This is one of those ones where if they ever make it, you're gonna want to buy 2 of him, because he could get canceled, and I honestly think that's the reason why he hasn't gotten a figure yet. But I really want this guy. So, oh my gosh, he has this kind of like Predator style gun on his backpack that aims around, and he has his 2 other blasters. He's really badass, and so I would love to either get, first off, I would love to get his gear from when he was first introduced, but if they want to give us his gear from the tank pilot gear, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I'm really just hoping for his original outfit, because that's badass. Anyways, give us Billy Burr, give us Bill Burr, guys. Alright, and for my number 3 pick, this is actually going to be the Commando droids. Now, the Commando droids are absolutely badass. I don't know, they're one of my favorite droid types, and I love my droid army, so of course I would army build these, probably get 3 or 4 of them, because these guys are awesome. And if you don't think so, then you're a Magna Guard fan. I'm looking at you, Nurk IRL. No, but seriously, Magna Guard would be cool too, but yeah, I just want my Commando droids. I want my freaking death droids that have these slashy swords. They would be really fun to have, and those are one of my favorite droid figures as a kid. Or I had one of them growing up, and it was my absolute favorite enemy to verse off versus the clones, because it was always an even match in my mind for some reason. But anyways, hopefully Hasbro gives us one, and hopefully they give it to us soon, because I'm really wanting it. Anyways, let's get into my next pick. Yeah, so my number 2 pick is going to be Clone Commandos. Now, for starters, we got Gregor. Of course, they're going to need to make a Gregor at some point, because, I mean, why not? Gregor is badass. He had literally his own little arc, and he survived all the way to Rebels, so he's kind of an essential figure. Plus, I love his design, but the Clone Commandos that everyone wants, it's the Republic Commandos themselves. It is Boss, Sev, Fixer, and Scorch. Yeah, these guys are probably the most badass clones. Whenever you think of badass clones, these are usually the first ones to come to mind. Scorch is always my favorite, so I'd love to see a figure of him, but hopefully they don't skip these out on the gaming rates. I'm sure they will make them at some point, but I'm going to hold out on them. Hopefully it's a 4-pack, but anything will do. So Hasbro, I hope you're listening to this list. Let's move on to my next pick, and the final. Alright, and my final pick, and the figure that everyone wants, the figure that everyone knows, it is Jack Porkins. No, I'm just kidding, but seriously though, I wouldn't be opposed to Jack Porkins. He's kind of an inside joke. But my true number one, that is going to be, you might hate me for this pick, it's going to be Jyn Erso in her Imperial gear. Now, I always felt like Jyn Erso's outfits were kind of underwhelming, and then her figures were really bad. I'm not going to lie, really bad. So, if they do go ahead and re-release some of the Rogue One figures this year, I really hope we get the Imperial disguise Jyn Erso. Now, they made a Hot Toys of her just to show how badass the armor is. I mean, where's this for the most pivotal part of the movie? So why not give this figure to us? It looks badass. I kind of want it a lot, and every time I think of figures I want, I always think of Jyn Erso for some reason in this gear, because for whatever reason I like Imperial stuff, I like Imperial disguises, and I like heroes, and I'm always willing to get an updated hero, especially if they're in Imperial disguise. So yeah, this one would be an awesome one, so I'm really hoping for this one. Guys, let me know what your picks are for your wish lists. I would really like to know. Yeah, sorry if my wish list was a little underwhelming, but this is just what I wanted. And this is what I've been wanting for a couple of years now, you know, since I started collecting. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this, hit that like and hit that subscribe, and I'll see you with more top 10 lists and reviews in the future. And as always, you can bring them in warm, or you can bring them in cold. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.